Welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast. My name is Ian Ray, your host. And today I have Brittany Alexandra from Long Island, New York. She's a personal trainer and fascia stretch therapist. Brittany, welcome to the Stretch to Go podcast.
How are you guys? I'm so happy to be here. I want to thank you for having me on. I have heard a lot about your podcast, so I'm super excited to be here.
Okay, cool. How did you hear about it? Just curious.
Let's see, Carissa, I think you might have interviewed at some
Yep.
point.
Uh-huh.
And she kind of honestly was just like, oh, I'm doing, this interview. Her and I are very intertwined when it comes to the stretch world. So she was like, you got to look at this guy's page. He's awesome. Like he's got a ton of, amazing practitioners on, and he's all about FST. And I'm like, all right, well, I got to know him if he's all about FST because that's me.
Yeah. No, I know. I knew eventually I was going to reach out to you because I think, yeah, you're in this tree of this genealogy tree from Anthony Rosado to Carissa
Yeah.
Marie and then to you. So I know you guys are all kind of interconnected there in Long Island. So that's cool.
Yes. Anthony as well. Yes. He's awesome.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into personal training, and then how long you've been doing it? Are you originally from New York?
So how did I get into it? I've been doing personal training and basically having a fitness career since, oh my God, years now. But I would say I've been in the industry for 15 years. It's so funny when you say it. It's like 15 years, it's a long time. But I actually really got involved with stretching from a woman. Her name is Gail Bannister Munn. Shout outs to Gail. I got in touch with her. I mean, I've known her for years, and she was actually one of the leads over in export fitness for group fitness. And on the side, she was stretching the New York Jets. And I will never forget, she would literally tell me, like, you need to be a stretch therapist. I don't know what you're doing. You need to be a trainer. At the time, I was actually working over at the export spa. So it was my first job out of college. My mom was like, well, you can't stay home. You got to figure it out. Um, I got involved. Actually, I figured why not go to the gym that I'm at all the time and see if I can get a job. So I ended up getting a job. I got promoted about 6 months after. I was there at the front desk, and everything kind of just blossomed, honestly, from there. I can say that once I spoke to Gail, this idea of this stretch aspect was in my mind. But I was like, how am I going to stretch anybody if I don't even train anybody yet? So I really jumped into personal training. I started taking that super serious, and then it kind of just evolved. I ended up finally getting into stretch, and it's been history ever since.
So, I guess for you, who's the typical demographic in the population that you're either training or doing FSD?
I like to work with everyone. I will say, like, my current clientele are actually a lot of athletes. It's funny, I was actually at the Knicks game yesterday, and I ran into the Knicks massage therapist that I actually went to level 1 with, and her name is Erin. She's amazing. And I ran into her in the back.
I heard about her. I looked her up too once.
She's awesome. So I literally ran into her, and I was like, finally, I was like, I'm looking for you. She's like, how did you not text me? And it was a great moment that we had. But I told her, I was like, listen, like, I've been trying to get in contact with you. I've been trying to like connect with you, but I know you're super busy. Like in season, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's chaotic for her. And she, she was telling me, she was like, I've been all over the place. She just recently got engaged, so she's doing her thing. But she and I were talking, and she was like, I have been really thinking about FST lately. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, dude, whenever you want to get together, we can actually like practice on each other. I love doing that. I love helping other practitioners. I'm currently helping another practitioner. His name is Jihad, and he knows Anthony, and he also knows Carissa. So the New York crew is pretty tight. We're pretty tight. I told her, I was like, whenever you want, like, let's get this going. She's so amazing, super talented. Her guys are awesome. They're always crushing it. But my specific clientele are athletes. So her and I were really connecting about that. it's a lot when you got a guy that's, or a female, but for me, it's been a lot of guys that I've been working on. A wide receiver, 6'5", over 200 pounds on your table. And you got
Yeah.
to make sure that you get in his lateral line and he feels that. And it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure too, because these bodies make a lot of money. So it's something that I've kind of like just taken so serious and really, I mean, I give them at home exercises. I give them at home mobility, at home stretches to do. Like they have stretch protocols. I'm on them. I need them to like feel good. I need them to also not be dinosaurs by the time they're 30, because a lot of the guys I work with are young. So, and
Hmm.
some of them actually have had surgeries as well. So it's like, I got to make sure that you are not only good on the field, but also good. Even when you're getting in your car, you're going on a flight, you're on a bus, it's a lot on the body.
Sure. So, how did you first heard about the Stretch to Win Institute?
How did I first hear it? So let's see. So Gail actually talked to me about it. This was back, where are we at? And 2009.
Oh
And
wow.
I forgot about it a little bit. So I like kind of like went through the world and I was like, okay. So I ended up getting in touch with Carissa because she actually got started over at Lifetime. And
Yeah.
when she came to Lifetime, she was like, oh, I'm an FST therapist. I'm like, I was like, I have been told about being involved in FST for so many years, but I just, I was able to do it. I was also doing like other certifications and really honing in on my skills as a personal trainer. But there was always that missing link, because it's like you have someone come into you and you have a training session and they have tightness in their lower back and they're just like, oh, can we not do legs today? And it's like, well, we could try like these stretches. You tried a few things, but you always have in your mind, like, I could do more. Like, how can I do more? And she came actually to Lifetime Fitness over in Garden City, and she had this whole stretch business. And I was like, all right, this is pretty cool. So I watched her do it a few times. And what really got me was I helped her build her business there. She's an amazing and talented therapist on her own, but when you come to a big box gym and big corporation, it's hard to kind of get in front of the right people to make the right connections, if that makes sense, right? So she was fantastic, but she would be doing a table at this time and not this time. And I taught a lot of group fitness classes. I still teach group fitness classes. I love teaching group fitness classes. But I said to her, I said, you know what? After I teach class, come come with your table, come set up right outside of my class. And I was like, let's get everybody on your table for like a 15-minute stretch. And literally from that point on, everything took off. And that's kind of where her and I really became close, because she was like, oh my God, I have these people and these names. And it was a great way for me to help her, but also help myself to understand kind of like the balance. So if I have someone coming to my class, like, oh, my shoulder's super tight. Is there anything, Carissa, could you stretch me? And it was like, and I'm watching her make bank. And I was like, wow. I was like, I feel like I could do this too. So we kind of she was a great referral to FST. I ended up going. Level 1 was amazing. I ended up meeting Erin at level 1. And, every time I've gone, I level 1, I met Erin, who is the Knicks stretch therapist. Level 2, I met a gentleman who's the New York Yankees athletic trainer. It's always such a small, it's like a big world, but it's a small world. And if you're there and you're from New York, we kind of all just navigate to each other. It's very funny, but honestly, that's how it all started. And I keep in touch with everybody. That's the thing with me. Carissa, I stretch her, she stretches me. We're very close, so we can do that. And then it also just helps us keep our skills sharp, man. I gotta be honest with you.
No, yeah, definitely. I think I'm in Maryland, so I'm the same way. I have had to reach out to practitioners like myself and work on each other too.
It's
Because I'm
great.
only level one. I'm only level one, but a lot of these people here in Maryland are level 3 and above. They
Oh
have a lot of
yeah.
knowledge, a lot of experience that they, passed down to me and kind of guided me along this journey. Because I've only been doing this since July, but there's just so
Oh
much,
wow.
there's just so much work to be done. Like, because FSC is not as common, I'd say, here compared to like, a stretch zone and stretch lab and stuff.
Right.
There are some OGs actually I found too that they've been doing it since like 2007, 2010. And I reached out to them and, talked to them and say, hey, what was it like, doing FST before it was a thing? I mean, they had the oysters. They had a lot of work to be done, but I don't think I don't think it was just more of a known thing then, but now it's, with all the stretch lab and stretch zones coming up, I think it's helping us as practitioners to know that and what we're doing is truly unique to what, these different places are offering.
For sure. I couldn't agree with you more on that. And it's funny because, especially in New York, we're kind of oversaturated with those stretch zones and those stretch
Yeah.
places. But I always say they help keep us in business because when you have a stretch with FST, if you have a stretch with an FST practitioner, you are going to feel a big difference than, unfortunately, that stretch zone person that probably is like, I need a second job. I'm here to just do this. Like when you are invested in your stretching, like I feel like most FSC practitioners are, there's no other experience. I actually found a girl. She's in the city though.
Uh-huh.
I want to try to link with her in the summer. She's like FST level. I think she's two. And she's fantastic. I see her work. I'm like, man, that looks like it would feel good. So I love working with other practitioners. I think what you're doing is amazing because it's connecting everyone as well. Sometimes you get people, they come, they just do level one. Okay. They don't know if they want to come back for level two. They don't know if they want to do level three. Well, now we have level four. They don't know. You know what I mean? Some people do. They just come for that one level and then that's it. But for those that still stick with it, they go to level two, they go to level three, they're going to level four. Level four, we had a few level four graduates. It's something that you cannot get. You are constantly strengthening your skill and having a strong skill set in stretching. I think doesn't matter who you work with, young, old, athletes, injured, whoever it is, recovery is it. Recovery is it. And it's funny because it's in now, but we've been doing this. So it's like, come on. It's about time you guys jumped on the recovery train. It's huge. It's very important.
Um, I guess like for you, when you first enrolled in the Stretch to Win course, did you have any initial thoughts, any hesitancy enrolling in it, or were you kind of already sold based off the, referral from Gail and Carissa and whatnot?
You know what it is? These glasses are not just for show. I'm a massive nerd. I love reading. I love like doing my research. And I really feel like once I had Carissa stretch me, there was a gentleman named Sock. His name is Socrates, but Sock stretched me as well. I think Warren might have stretched me. I've had a few therapists stretch me. I'm just like, there is nothing that feels better. And I was honestly, I would say, sold after I was able to be worked on. It's
Mm.
great to read, it's great to like look at things and go on websites, but when you actually have the work done to you, that's how you're sold, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I was just like, there's no way. I just thought to myself, there's no way I won't get better by going to this cert. And I love certifications. And I feel like also too, when you're doing something that not everyone else is doing, it kind of separates you from the crowd. And that's what I personally like the most because I feel like nowadays there's so many people trying to do recovery.
Hmm.
There's so many people trying, we're trying to outdo and do this, and everyone's kind of trying to do that when let's just stick to the basics. Like, let's just stick to the basics of stretching. Let's get a nice, quiet room. Let's get some straps on the table and let's just stretch. You know what I mean? And I feel like there are a lot of people that if you see and you'll start picking up on it too, you know, they try to add this, they try to do this, they try to just do other things other than stretching. And I feel like when you've got something that's magic like that, now I feel like for my clients, they're I'm not talking about the stretch clients, I'm sorry, the personal training clients. The minute they come in with something like, oh, this hurts or this, I don't feel it. Well, we're going to do legs today because I'm going to stretch your back. You're going to feel better. You have a little pep into your step and then they're ready to go. I would say that being unique in this industry is what is going to help you last, I feel like. And being
Yeah.
able to adapt to change and really progress. And for me, I got to be honest with you, I want anyone that's interested in stretching. I always say, come to my table, come onto my table, let me help you. And that's kind of how it worked with. There's two trainers actually at Lifetime in Syosset that I had them. I was like, you know, they wanted to be known in Lifetime. I don't stretch at Lifetime, but they wanted to be known as these recovery people in Lifetime. And I said, no problem. I said, they're using their kind of like PNF and different techniques, which that's fine. You're using other methods, but they were hurting themselves. And one of my friends, her name is Taylor. She was like, "Oh, this hurts. This doesn't feel good. Whatever." And I just said, come see me. Come onto my table. Let me figure out what's really going on." And I ended up stretching her, and she was like, "Oh my God, I've been doing it all wrong." And I will never forget it. I was like, "You think so?" I'm like, "Do you feel better though? Like, can we talk about you? How do you feel?" And she's like, "I feel great." That September, she went to FST. So that was my referral, and I was so happy because I was like, I'm praying that not only is she going to feel better when she's stretching people,
Mhm.
she also herself now has an entire encyclopedia of different stretches that she can do on this person, that person, etc., that she's not hurting herself. And that
Yeah.
was really my goal, to help her.
Do you have to often explain to people like the difference between, FST and like PNF, especially like the word fascia? Like maybe a lot of people aren't familiar with fascia. So how do you explain to someone who's like not familiar with fascia or the word fascia stretch there?
It's actually really funny. So the way that I describe it is, I'm like, you don't have a chicken cutlet before you cook it. I
Mm-hmm.
say, that white film around the chicken cutlet? Pretend the chicken cutlet is your muscle, and that white film is fascia. And you want to make sure that that fascia is smooth, it's lean, it looks great, and you don't want it to kind of be ruffled, you know what I mean? And just explaining it in that sense, honestly, gives people an idea of like, okay, so the fascia surrounds my muscle. It's around that. Because honestly, there's really no other way. Like normal people are like, what? I trust you. It sounds like an important word, but like, that's the number one thing, especially with my athletes. I love them, but sometimes they're just like, everything hurts if you could just, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I want to explain a little bit of this to you so you know what's going on. But that would be my best way to describe it. It's like just that white film around your chicken cutlet. And everyone likes chicken and they like to eat. So they're like, okay, that makes sense.
No, no, definitely. Yeah, I think that's such a important thing to help people give that analogy. It is
For
simple and
sure.
we've all used it. I guess for you, going back to FST, like I know there are probably a lot of new, FSC grads graduating from level one. What would you say to that one person who's on the fence about enrolling to the course?
Enrolling to level one.
Yeah,
What would I say? So, what I would say to someone who would be on the fence about enrolling into level one FSG is, I would say, do you want to help your clients and help yourself? That's really all I would say. And I would ask them that as an open-ended question to hear their response. If they're like, yeah, of course I want to help. Of course I want to help my clients, or I want to help like myself. I'm going to say then there's no reason for you not to go. Because one thing with FSC, it's going to help you with how you feel,
yeah.
but it all like with your body, but it also helps you with your mind. And I feel like people have misunderstood the real recovery is here. It's calming your mind. It's really truly relaxing those thoughts, those negative thoughts. And I feel like Anne and Chris do a fantastic job at expressing the importance of when you're stretching someone. I can't stretch someone if I'm all over the place, I'm upset, I had a long day, and you can't stretch someone like that. And I feel like sometimes we want to help people so bad, but we need to help ourselves. And honestly, I can truly say that sometimes I try to help a client and I have had a long day myself. And I end up not only helping myself because I'm helping this person, but
Mhm.
that person leaves my table and they feel so much better, so empowered, so mentally focused that there's no reason not to want to do that. And that's what I think FSC does. And I think that taking it that deep is really what Ann and Chris did. I will never forget the first person I stretched after I went to level 1. This guy walked up the table and he said, I literally feel like I can float. Like, I feel like I am floating in the air and I'm not even here on Earth. I'm like, I guess that means I did a good job. I guess. And I was like, yeah, listen, I was like, did someone pay you $20 to say that? Like, you don't need to say that. But he was like, I'm telling you, whatever this is going to make you bank. And there's no reason why not every single trainer should be doing this. And he was one of my first clients. I'm still cool with him to this day. He's insane. He's hilarious. But he stayed with me. And listen, you try other places, you go other places, you do other things, but they always come back. They always come back. If you like retention, you're going to want to freaking definitely get level 1, you know? So I highly doubt, I think at a point where if you're going to do level 1, there's no reason for you not to. There's really no reason. There's no way. No way.
How about this? How do you see like fast stretch therapy evolving in the future? I know you're level 2 or level 3.
So I'm level 2. And I actually have a lot of experience with level 3 because I actually shadowed Anthony Rosado for a few months. He helped work with me. He actually I was on the fence about level 2, and he actually really pushed me. Like, I saw the things that he was doing, and I was like, that's very good. I asked for his book. I read the book, front to back to front. And that's the meat and potatoes, I think, because I know you're level 1, but that is the meat and potatoes of FSC. Level 2 is amazing. But evolving, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because I feel like first there's going to be a lot more therapists. I feel like I could see an app maybe developing at some point, an FSC app. I don't know how that would go, but I could see like just technologically the way that the world is kind of working. I could see that happening, but I think I would say just a lot more trainers are really hopping on the bandwagon. It used to be in New York, there was about 10 of us, less than 10. And now we're probably almost at about, I think, a little bit over 20. There's a lot of therapists in New York. Yeah, there's a lot of therapists. And I'm talking this is level 1 to 3. Like, these are maybe 4 now, but there's a lot of therapists now. And I feel like what's going to happen with evolving of FSC is just going to be more and more people, more stretch therapists, more people really trying to get these clients, these people recovered. And yeah, one thing I would like to see, I will say, is an emphasis with not only obviously athletes are great, but on the other spectrum. So not only just our younger athletes, but like I feel like a lot of older people benefit from FSC. And I personally think, it extends life. I can't say I haven't seen that help. I can't say I haven't seen FST not help someone over the age of 60. My mother's 71. She had scoliosis. She actually had the back surgery that they used to do back in the day. They open you up, and every time she leaves my table, she's like, I'm ready to go to the book. She's in a book club, so she's ready to go to her book club. She's ready to just really tackle the day, and I feel like creating that awareness in that community would probably be beneficial. Because think about it, when people are older, they don't move as much. So if they're not moving as much, let's say they're not even walking. You think they're stretching? You know what I mean? So I feel like we should really focus on not so much just like, personal training and young athletes, but also the older squad, the older community.
No, yeah, I think that's definitely like that mobility part. They lose balance. Just the range of motion decreases, obviously, with the geriatric folks, I'd say. So I think and plus the great thing about FSC is it's gentle. It's not like we're forceful through these, stretches. Plus it's and it gives them that no pain feeling because with PNF. I mean, we can incorporate PNF, but most of the time, the level one, even like I feel like a lot of the geriatric patients, people who are very hypomobile, they probably can benefit the most right off of the bat. Just one, two, couple sessions, they can feel it and they see it, you know. So
That's actually like the number one question I always get when I'm
mhm.
trying to explain to someone, not only the fascia, like whatever, right? Does it hurt? Does it hurt?
Yeah.
I'm like, that this hour of your life will never be any ounce of pain. It will never be any pain. I'm gonna go where your body's gonna allow me. That's it.
So for you, business wise, how did you grow your FSD practice? Like, what kind of marketing or sales tactics have you used to attract new clients and keep them, retain them?
I would say because the fitness world is very saturated, I feel like it's such a saturated world. Referrals. And I would say that with all the confidence that I have in my life, when you get a good referral, another five people come right after that. So the best thing I would say when it comes to, building any kind of business, first of all, make sure that you're knowledgeable. Second of all, if you don't know, ask. And then third of all, be really good at what you're doing. Be as good as you can be. If there's a question, if there's something you don't understand, always kind of have like a little bit of a, what's the word? Have a little bit of kind of like a pool that you can tap into, right? So if I have a question, I can ask this person, this person. If I have a question specific to feet or whatever, I can ask this person. So you always want to have that kind of guidance. And I would say having that will help you be a better therapist. Therefore, when you go to market yourself and you put something on Instagram and it's a reel and et cetera, you get a bunch of questions. That's what you want. We want that exposure, but once you get that exposure, be careful what you wish for because people are going to ask you questions. You got to know what you're talking about. You have to know what you're doing. So I would say biggest ounce of advice, and I've received this as well. Market, referrals, know what you're talking about. Knowledge is everything. I say this all the time. You got to know what you're doing, not just look like it, really know what you're doing.
Fair enough. And then my last question for you is, as far as what are some of your long-term goals that you want to do for your business?
Long-term goals. Long-term goals would be to really help any trainers looking to get involved in FST, anyone that needs any guidance, any coaching. I would love to help other coaches. I love doing that. I think because I received so little when I started out, I feel like I just feel like I love to give back to someone who's just like myself. For my business, I really want to take it far with my athletes. I really believe in them. I'd love to work for a team. I would love to be a travel therapist. And I would love to honestly recreate myself and just duplicate myself and say, hey, like I'm not available, but I've got these two people working for me and they are amazing. I just feel like I would be a cool boss. So I have always kind of like played with that in my mind, like, oh, do you want to have people work for you, et cetera, et cetera. I would love to create and really kind of develop a small like stretching team. And I feel like I'm going to do it very soon, actually. Fingers crossed, but that's where we're looking.
We'll keep an eye on you. We'll keep an eye out for it.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah, but man, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Definitely, I was able to learn more about you. Of course, for those who are wanting to learn how Brittany and I got into the Stretch to Win Institute, you can go to www.stretchtowin.com, and of course, find a practitioner near you. You can become a practitioner by enrolling in the course. Just mention that I sent you there. This is my podcast. But of course, those of you who want to actually book a session with Brittany, I would love for you, Brittany, to promote your business, share your information, how people can reach out to you. So if you don't mind
Of
sharing
course.
social media handle, your website, or any way for people to book a session with you. So go ahead.
So my Instagram is Brittany Alexandra. That's two X's. 2.0, so you can find me there. In person, I stretch over at Purebred Training. We're located right by Hofstra over in Uniondale. And my website is Bodied by Bab, so it's BODIED BYBAB. And if you'd like to reach me by email, you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out to me at bbofit@gmail.com.
Perfect. And like I said, you do 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes. What's your sessions typically?
So I do 45 minutes or 60 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay. Book your session, peeps. Thank you so much for hopping onto the podcast again. And I will for sure let you know when this podcast will come out, because we do have the podcast come out every 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Friday. So this will probably come out like in July, actually. That's booked out.
Works for me.
I'll definitely shoot you an email. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome. And don't forget to subscribe, follow Stretch to Go Podcast, share with people. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.